Hey everybody! Before we get started, I highly recommend checking out Frith's grade system video, which I'll link in the description. I'll also link the Clone Hero grade system. I also checked with Frith to confirm the benchmarks are accurate that I will mention here. When following the CH grade system, I recommend looking more at the grade explanations tab than the benchmarks on the lower grades such as grades 1 through 6, as there are some inconsistencies. A good example is the explanation tab says Zigman is a grade 4, but the benchmark tab says it's a grade 3. Only really use this video for extra clarity or understanding if Frith's video isn't enough. I made a Twitter post regarding player rankings yesterday. A couple important things to note as I mentioned rankings throughout the video. Only Frith and I created this metric. This is the only one of many possibilities of grade systems that could be used for Clone Hero. Not every player is actively grinding to become higher ranked, and this is a very rough estimation, mainly based purely on data that we are able to gather. I'll be using the term FC in this video, which refers to a full combo of notes. This means every note is hit and there are no overstrums. In Clone Hero, you know if you have an FC indicated by the end screen. There will be a crown to the bottom right of your profile name. So how do you use Frith's grade system? In order to achieve the grade you are looking for or going for, you have to obtain a single FC within that grade. For example, in order for me to obtain grade 6, I have to FC a grade 6 song. The system is also skill set based. All grades have chording, strumming, and tapping based FCs that can be obtained. You only have to obtain a single FC of any of these skill sets to become set grade. I'll give an example. Say I'm capable of getting a grade 9 tapping FC, but I can only get a grade 5 strumming FC. That still means I'm capable of getting a grade 9 FC, and therefore is my current grade. Here's a breakdown of each grade to see where you may lie in video format. I try to account for any inconsistencies between the grade explanation and benchmark tab to make it more cohesive. Currently, the system goes from grade 1 through 16 in terms of FCs the community has already accomplished. There are benchmarks for grades 17 through 20, but none have been achieved yet by the community. Additionally, I'm mostly going to be going over the minimum achievements needed for each grade, not the high end of each one. Also, I'll be using generally balanced benchmarks in my example, but I will also include some tapping accomplishments starting at grade 4 for the players that exclusively play those types of charts. To get these charts, I recommend checking out Chorus, which will be linked in the description, or the main Clone Hero spreadsheet, which I'll also link. So let's begin at grade 1. This is the baseline and where most players will start going for FCs if they haven't touched Clone Hero or Guitar Hero before. I personally wasn't capable of a grade 1 FC until after a few months of playing Guitar Hero back in 2007. To get a grade 1 FC, find any easy difficulty song in the original Guitar Hero games from either tier 1 or 2. So to give a concrete example, I've seen Story of My Life from Guitar Hero 3, Slow Ride from Guitar Hero 3, or Surrender from Guitar Hero 2 on Easy would fall into this category. Grade 2. Most console easy and medium charts are here. So to give a bad example, Through the Fire and Flames medium is not a grade 2. To give a good example of the minimum, Crazy on You on medium from Guitar Hero 2, Beast and the Harlot from Guitar Hero 2 on easy, or 2 Minutes to Midnight on easy from Guitar Hero 5. Grade 3. This part is the first big jump in my opinion. Most hard difficulty charts go here, or the easy expert charts. I'll be using an easy expert chart as an example. Paranoid by Black Sabbath on expert would be the minimum type of FC needed for grade 3. Grade 4. A lot more players drop out here. Pride and Joy by Stevie Ray Vaughan on expert is the minimum needed for this grade. For tapping players, think of songs like Zigman as an example. Grade 5. I like the description on this one, but to obtain this, think of songs that are generally harder than Cliffs of Dover Expert from GH3. Examples of the minimum requirement would be Black Widow of Laporte from Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, Raining Blood on Expert from Guitar Hero 3, and so on. A tapping example is Lemon Reaper's Hell. Grade 6. From here on out, you'll generally see less bass console songs that you would see on the original games. Only a few of them qualify for this, which is actually the minimum. Through the Fire and Flames GH3 is a good example of the minimum needed here. A tapping song custom such as Chiasm would also fit here. But to answer the question that I've been getting asked a lot, why is Through the Fire and Flames only here and not higher? Grade 6 is best thought of as the peak of console songs. Through the Fire and Flames is a good example of this. Think about it also in this manner. Is there really anything above, say, grade 4 tapping in Through the Fire and Flames? Not really. In my opinion, it's more of a consistency grind than anything. And the occasional teleporting, which is the action of bringing your strumming hand up to the frets to tap the extra inputs, that makes it a grade 6. I had the question on Twitter of why is it here if only 100 people have seen it. I explained it this way. For starters, there are more than 100 players capable of grinding or FCing this song and just don't feel like doing it. I'm a good example of this. My personal reason is just because I find the song annoying after playing it a bunch back in the GH3 days. Additionally, to answer why 550 players in the rankings are there if there are only 100 Flames FCs, I did answer this on my Twitter in the replies if you want to check that out, but there are far more tapping players in the Clone Hero community than there are console skill sets for songs such as Through the Fire and Flames. Remember that tapping became more of a thing during Clone Hero and was only used by a select group of players in the Guitar Hero days. The engine on Clone Hero is also far more forgiving too, leading more people to want to chase tapping-based FCs. So the example that I gave was that there are likely 450 players capable of getting a grade 6 tapping FC like Chiasm that may or may not be capable of doing Through the Fire and Flames. This brings the total to roughly 550, accounting for the 100 Flames FCs. If you disagree with this, that's fine. This was mainly just a clarification as I had a few questions as to Flames ranking with regard to amount of players that have FC'd it. Grade 7. At this point, the jumps may not seem large in terms of player ranking, but keep in mind we are approaching lower amounts of players here at this point that are even hitting these. Each grade will likely be difficult to get to the next one for players at these ranks. Grade 7 minimum would look like The Devil Went Down to Georgia from Guitar Hero 3 with standard strumming. For those wondering, this would be the Guitar Hero 3 DLC version. A tapping song that would fit here is Utopia. Grade 8. This is a tough one to find a standard for. A relatively balanced grade 8 example would be Zernitra by Camellia, which can be found on the Chronial Zero release on YouTube on Stargazer's channel. Also think of Outback Stomp One-Handed from Cargill Tunnel Hero 3, or really any of the more difficult 6s. Solus 3 and Ed Trio are also iconic songs that fit under here. Grade 9. I tried thinking of a benchmark that is balanced for this one, but that becomes trickier at this point as skill sets start to combine into all skill sets are required to obtain this FC. Length of song also might become a factor at this point, and you'll see that in some of the benchmarks. Some examples I thought of are Satsibaka from S-Hero, Extreme Metal Solo Medley 2 Extreme Boogaloo from Carpal Tunnel Hero 3, Suncage Solo Medley from S-Hero. From the document, VIP Party and Universes would fit here, and consistency-wise, most of the Symphony X full album FCs would fit here, with the exception of a few. Grade 10, this is where the super duper big time FCs are at, where it will inevitably require a grind to do, unless you're already above this grade. Solus 2 and Panger are here. Ones I came up with too would be the Mark Rizzo solo medley from Carpal Tunnel Hero 3, or 50K by Calvertron, also from Carpal Tunnel Hero 3. Consistency-wise, to give just one example of many that are out there, I'd put the Symphony X full album chart here, which is their first album release. Grade 11. The big ones here are Solus 4 and Crisis City. If you're not into that like me, big time consistency charts such as the Symphony X discography solo medley from Carpal Tunnel Hero 3 would fit here. The Mirror Cluster Genesis Theory by Camellia from Chronial Zero also fits here. Grade 12. For grade 12, there are a decent amount of examples. The most known would be Solus 5 and Mega Wub Wub. Lesser known examples would be the Epidermis Drums Converted to Guitar chart All Strums, which can be found in one of the strumming packs for the game. Banger AF Bro by Camellia from Chronial Zero would also fit here, along with Ghoul from the UUFO project. Grade 13. For grade 13, there are some listed on the sheet I'd like to use, such as Prevail or Mega Wub Wub 110. I would also add Tanison from the UUFO project to this, as there is some absurd tech with most skill sets required for this. Grade 14. Grade 14, to quote the sheet, is where we start getting to FC of the Year territory, so you'll be in the news probably. This includes Obsidian, Ripen Pears, and Synth Battle versus Zeppy. Calamity Fortune also fits here. Grade 15. All the famous videos naturally consist of these, like Sola 6, Mega Wub Wub 125, and Randy's FC of Megatsune Note Shuffle belong here. Grade 16. Only a few players are capable of this level. You might ask, why are there 3 players listed here? Well, to this day, Megalodon is the only FC, although it's been determined that there is more than one player capable of a grade 16 FC, hence why there are 3 there. Just means that they haven't gone for it yet. Constellation and Archwick's Hell belong here. Grade 17. No one has done this yet, so if you have an FC here, congratulations, as of today, you are the top Clone Hero player. Besides the one on the sheet such as Helidox, the Olympian Act 5, and Space Race, I would also put a UUFO full album FC by Camellia somewhere grade 17 or higher. You can check out the sheet to see what grade 18 through 20 consist of as well. That about does it. As a side note, Frith, me, and a few others are going to be working on creating the expanded grade 1 through 20 system, which is currently being working on. Where, for example, Megalodon, the current highest attained FC in the community, would be a grade 20. So we'll have like grade 21 and higher as well for those things that haven't been obtained yet. This new system that will help us spread out the difficulties more, especially among the lower grades. Also, as a side note, speed-ups may increase the grade of a certain song, which you might have seen with Mega Wub Wub there in the list. Think about Nove Ruptus 125 in comparison to 100, a really famous strumming song. There's a huge difference in difficulty with those. Determining MPS, or notes per second, in tough sections of a song, which you can do by going to practice mode and checking the MPS counter. And comparing to the benchmarks is also a good determinant, along with identifying how complex are the patterns in this song. If you ever have a grade request that you aren't sure about, feel free to message me on Twitter, especially for console skill set related stuff, or in the comments of this video. For something other than that, such as tapping related grading, I highly recommend joining Frith's Discord, which I'll link in the description, and using the grade request tab, as there are many solid tapping players who have good knowledge on where that stuff goes. Have a great day, and thanks for watching the video. Hope it was at least a little bit helpful.